you can start a company that's worth that much money and build your own IP, like personal IP, and then maybe you can touch on what IP is after, because that's huge now too, is like building your own personal IP, becoming an expert in the state. And he did it by propping up people who were starting and founding businesses. And so HubSpot came along and they're like, well, that's our ICP, and you have a direct connection to us, and it's organic, and we don't. We want that, right? And so that I feel like there's going to be a ton of niche industries out there that are going to be going and tapping people on the shoulder that have these audiences and going, we can't do what you do on a corporate level. You're already doing it. So here's our pitch. Here's our offer. And I just read, I haven't read into this like story at all. It's actually crazy what this guy was able to do in 8 years. It's wild, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
maybe.
yeah, let me hit on you're spot on there, but he did everything that you and I have been talking about for months. He did it almost exactly the way we've been talking about, right? So let's talk about a couple things here. Number one, the business was not called Pat Walls or the Pat Walls brand. It's called Starter Story. Okay. Now, that is what we talk about specifically. Now, there's you don't have to name it outside of your name all the time. There are reasons to name it after yourself, but he had a brand name. But at the same time, his personal brand was directly associated to this brand. Okay. So, what that allows you to do is you get the benefit of both worlds. When you have a brand that is not you, you can add other people to it, you can sell it, you can make it feel. I mean, a big part of this is just optics, right? Of, oh, this is like a real brand. This isn't just a guy, right? This is a brand. A brand means it's a bunch of people. It means it's omni-channel. In so many different places you see the brand, right? It's not just, hey, I'm Pat Walls and I make YouTube videos and I sometimes post on Twitter. No, it's a brand that does all of these different things. And a brand is much easier to have products for. As you mentioned, he was selling his own products, which I just got back from the new media summit in downtown Austin, and we'll do another episode about that. But this is something they talk about all the time there, and the people deep in this world talk about, which is, yes, you can make money from advertising, especially the more niche you go, but the best way to capitalize on building an audience or a media brand, what we're talking about, is to sell your own products, right? And that's what he did and was able to make a ton of money doing it. And if you're in the right space, you should figure out how you can sell things to your own audience, whether it's, the most obvious ones are consulting, courses, and community. Those are the three that jump out the most. But then, of course, there's products, physical products, digital products, launch another business on the back end of it, right? There's just so many different things that can be done. And this guy did a really great job with it. I love how it started as a side hustle, which I think is same with like Sean Puri at My First Million. Like, oh, let me just do this, let's see. And seeing the like how multi-billion-dollar companies see so much value in that connection you build with your audience. And this is where him being a human is so important and so valuable. It's not Starter Story, a bunch of random people you don't know who they are behind this brand, right? It's Starter Story. Pat Walls is the interviewer. He is writing from a first-person perspective in his newsletter. He is the face of the brand. And this is where the world is going because of AI, right? AI is going to make it where if there is no human face, people will assume you just use Claude to do it, right? So being more human, being a creator, being somebody who owns and operates a brand is going to 100x or 1000x in value if you do a good job and are able to capitalize on building trust with your audience. I'll also just leave it with this. We need to dig into this concept. Trust it's all about trust. Everything and where this is all going is trust. And I mean, trust was already super important before, but it's about to be so much more important because before if you saw somebody make a YouTube video, you could trust it was them. Right? Well, you can't now, right? So you're going to have to earn the trust even more so. And when you earn it, they will feel so much closer to you, and you will be able to capitalize on that in whatever ways you're trying to capitalize. So anyway, I just love this story, and I think HubSpot is doing it right. And I think more companies are going to do this. And the value is into finding other niches where you can do this, right? We're talking about HubSpot, entrepreneurs, startups. This model works in any industry and probably better. at least on a smaller scale, right? I mean, if you're in the pest control business, go start a pest control media brand. And I bet you could crush it if you know a lot of things about pest control, right? So anyway, what do you think, Shane?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like that's a good leeway into what I was going to talk about is like if you're listening to this, maybe the three people that catch on to our first episode, but
We'll go back
if
and
you,
listen.
yeah, they'll come back. But if you're listening, it's like, okay, yeah, well, that's awesome. Like you know, how easy for him, right, to talk about you know entrepreneurs and then get picked up by the SMB SaaS, but it's like it doesn't have to be that way, right? And like everything right now that everyone talking about online, I see is go vertical, right? Like so it's like go become an expert in something. If you already are, awesome, because you already have that trust built into like, and you probably have some sort of audience you don't even know about. You just gotta poke around in your inner circle, your Instagram audience you have right now, see how you can leverage that and then go with it. And it's like, okay, exactly. Pest control, real estate, lawyer, it doesn't matter, right? Like use the information that you've been building over years and years and years and become the expert in that industry for that people. And you don't need to be like the expert of
You
law
don't have to
in
be the
all of
smartest.
America.
No.
Be the expert in law in one vertical in a geography, or
Mhm.
be the pest control guy with the best TikTok account online and start a newsletter about pest control updates. Like I don't like just like or like it could be anything. You get creative with it, right? But like draw that attention back in and then use it to create leverage. And I think well, there's the there's the name
That's
of
it.
the podcast. But like and if you don't like have anywhere to start, like go pick somewhere and pick something you're interested in and you're passionate about. And don't just pick something random. But like there's so many different ways to do it. And I think that is going to be the way that people and single solopreneurs or small teams you're going to see some of these some of these people in these businesses explode over the next 3 years that get this concept because people are gathering information differently, right? It used to be you Googled and you went to websites and you'd go to a blog post on a local, pest control company, and I mean, you'd get there because of the blog post, so you get SEO optimized, and you might, sign up their sheet. But people are looking on YouTube. People are looking on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, all these other places that they weren't typically getting their media before. The paid ads I think still work, but there is nothing better than when you come across a post that wasn't paid and you sit there and you watch it for 15, 20. Like if you're doing YouTube and someone that sits there and watches you for an hour, like they trust you. They gave you an hour of their life and their time. So that content was extremely valuable for that time if they chose to actually sit there and watch it. Imagine what you could do if you 10x that across like a year. You would grow a following and they would trust you. And then you're the expert voice in that industry.